Have you ever wondered why some of the biggest Filipino celebrities, after years of dating within showbiz, suddenly fall in love with someone completely ordinary? Why do stars who live under the spotlight often end up happiest with partners who want nothing to do with fame? It's one of the most fascinating patterns in Philippine entertainment. Actors, hosts, and performers finding peace and lasting love with people far away from the cameras.
I think sinadya namin to keep it private.
Okay.
You knew about it,
of course,
because you are a
I did.
These aren't the relationships built for PR or the red carpet. They're the quiet, genuine kind that survive long after the lights dim. From Angelica Panganiban's story of heartbreak turned serenity, to Robi Domingo's grounded marriage, to Maja Salvador's second chance romance, these stars prove that true love doesn't always need to trend.
Love is nothing platonic, it's nothing romantic. It's something that you work for it every day.
Behind every viral celebrity wedding and showbiz breakup, there's a growing truth. Sometimes the happiest ending is the one that happens off screen. So, before we dive into our first story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next upload about the untold lives, lessons, and love stories of your favorite celebrities. It all started quietly. No grand announcement, no media spectacle, just Angelica Panganiban smiling again after years of heartbreak. If you followed her journey, you know she's had some of the most talked about relationships in showbiz. But this time, something was different. After the ups and downs of dating within the industry, Angelica found love in a place no one expected, with a man who wanted none of the spotlight. Gregg Homan, a businessman based in Subic, met Angelica away from the cameras. Their connection grew naturally, far from the chaos of showbiz gossip. By the time fans noticed, they already had a beautiful daughter, Bean, and a quiet family life that radiated pure contentment. Their wedding wasn't about fame either. It was about family. They said "I do" twice. First in Los Angeles in 2023, then again in Siargao in April 2024, surrounded only by their closest circle. Angelica once said she prayed for peace more than anything else. And looking at her now, she seems to have found exactly that. But she isn't the only one who traded fame for something real. Because up next is a familiar face who also chose love outside the spotlight and found a partner who keeps him grounded every single day. From Angelica's calm love story, we move to another celebrity who's learned that peace sometimes means stepping out of the limelight. Even just a little. Robi Domingo, one of the most recognizable hosts in Philippine television, has always been surrounded by flashing lights and endless attention. But when it came to love, he chose something refreshingly different: privacy. Robi met Mikey Pineda, a woman who isn't part of the showbiz world but understands the value of steady support. She's a finance and tech professional who prefers staying behind the scenes. And maybe that's what made their relationship so special. Their romance unfolded quietly, without grand gestures for social media. And when they finally tied the knot in January 2024 in Pulilan, Bulacan, it wasn't a celebrity circus. It was an intimate moment filled with sincerity and warmth. Robi once shared that Mikey helped him find balance. A word that might sound simple, but for someone in his world, it means everything. Together, they prove that love doesn't need validation from the crowd. It only needs two people who choose each other every day. And while Robi's story feels like a refreshing breath of normalcy, our next couple proves that sometimes simplicity can still come wrapped in style and elegance. After Robi's story of quiet balance, another celebrity followed the same path, choosing peace over spotlight pressure. Valeen Montenegro, known for her charm and versatility on screen, surprised fans when she revealed her wedding to Riel Manuel, a non-showbiz professional who keeps a low profile outside the industry. Their ceremony, held in January 2024 at Santuario de San Antonio Church, wasn't about glamour or fame. It was about grace, intimacy, and family. There were no viral hashtags, no big production numbers, just genuine love shared with the people who mattered most. What made Valeen's story stand out is how grounded it felt. Even after years in entertainment, she stayed refreshingly real. Riel's quiet confidence complements her perfectly. No need to compete for attention, no pressure to perform for the public. Together, they radiate that calm, unbothered energy that so many showbiz couples can only wish for. For Valeen, marriage didn't mean retreating from her career. It meant finding someone who respects both her work and her peace. And while her wedding was a masterclass in simplicity, the next couple on our list shows that love can sometimes find its way back, even after years apart. From Valeen's quiet celebration of love, we move to a story that proves timing can change everything. Maja Salvador, one of the most dynamic actresses in Philippine showbiz, once believed her love story with Rambo Nunez had ended for good. They dated years ago, went their separate ways, and lived completely different lives. But fate clearly had other plans. After years apart, Maja and Rambo reconnected, not in the middle of flashing lights or movie sets, but as two people who had grown, healed, and learned what they truly wanted. Their reunion wasn't dramatic. It was mature, grounded, and real. In July 2023, they sealed that second chance with a breathtaking wedding in Bali, Indonesia. It wasn't the typical celebrity spectacle. It was intimate, heartfelt, and full of gratitude. Guests described it as simple but sincere, just like the love they rebuilt. Rambo, a businessman, is Maja's opposite in lifestyle, but her equal in drive and loyalty. Together, they've built a partnership based on respect and emotional safety, something that feels rare in the world they both move in. And if Maja's story teaches us about second chances, the next one reminds us that love isn't always about glamour. Sometimes it's about quiet strength and everyday devotion. After Maja and Rambo's story of rekindled love, we move to a couple that never needed to break up or make a comeback because they've been solid from the start. Bianca Gonzalez and JC Intal are living proof that a love built on friendship, faith, and teamwork can survive even the toughest seasons of fame. Bianca, a respected host and advocate, has always been admired for her calm, intelligent personality. And JC, a professional basketball player turned entrepreneur, complements that perfectly. They married in December 2014 in a quiet yet heartfelt ceremony, and since then have built a family grounded in purpose and partnership. What makes their story powerful isn't grand gestures. It's how they handle life's small moments with grace. Bianca often shares honest reflections about the realities of marriage, communication, patience, and choosing love daily, even when it's not glamorous. Their marriage feels refreshingly real. No drama, no showbiz antics, just mutual respect and shared growth.
I think sinadya namin to keep it private.
Okay.
You knew about it,
Of course,
because you are a
I did.
ninong.
Oo.
In a world where relationships often become performances, Bianca and JC remind everyone that true commitment doesn't need a spotlight. And while they've mastered the art of steady love, our next couple brings something different. A mix of family goals, humor, and the kind of energy that keeps everyone smiling. From Bianca and JC's steady, grounded marriage Let's shift to a couple that turned love and family life into something everyone could root for. Chesca Garcia and Doug Kramer, better known as Team Kramer. Their story began long before the Instagram fame and viral family videos. Chesca, a former actress and TV personality, met Doug, a professional basketball player, through common friends. And what started as a sweet courtship quickly grew into one of the country's most admired partnerships. What makes them stand out isn't the fame, but the foundation. Behind the polished social media posts lies a couple that prioritizes faith, teamwork, and intentional parenting. Doug often says marriage isn't about perfection, but choosing love every day, a theme that defines their relationship. Their bond shows that even when life is public, love can stay private at its core. They've built their success around family, not fame. And that's what makes them so relatable. And while Team Kramer embodies joy and unity, our next couple brings that same energy, but with a playful twist that keeps their love story as entertaining as it is genuine. After seeing the warmth and family unity of Team Kramer, we move to another couple that brings joy in their own hilarious way. Solenn Heussaff and Nico Bolzico. They're easily one of the most beloved duos in Philippine entertainment, known for their playful banter, witty #wifezilla jokes, and the kind of chemistry that feels effortless. But beyond the comedy and social media fun, Solenn and Nico share something deeper, a relationship built on respect and emotional freedom. Nico, an Argentine entrepreneur, may not come from showbiz, but he completely understands Solenn's artistic lifestyle. He's confident enough to joke about himself, but also humble enough to step back and let her shine. Married since 2016, they've become parents to 2 adorable daughters.
Love is nothing platonic, it's nothing romantic. It's something that you work for it every day.
And yet their dynamic remains refreshingly real. They show that laughter, trust, and individuality can coexist beautifully in a marriage. What fans love most about them is that nothing feels staged, just 2 people navigating love and life with humor and honesty. And while Solenn and Nico prove that laughter keeps love alive, our next couple shows how grace and elegance can make even a high-profile life feel beautifully grounded. From Solenn and Nico's lighthearted marriage, we move to another power duo who've mastered the balance between elegance and normalcy. Isabelle Daza and Adrienne Sembla. As one of the country's most stylish it girls, Isabelle grew up surrounded by fame. But when she met Adrienne, a French businessman with a calm, composed presence, everything changed. Their relationship wasn't built on glitz. It was built on understanding, independence, and shared values. The 2 married in 2016 in a breathtaking ceremony in Tuscany, Italy, blending timeless romance with understated class. Since then, they've built a family that's as low-key as it is loving. While Isabelle remains active in fashion and lifestyle content, Adrienne has stayed her constant anchor, grounded, supportive, and unbothered by showbiz chaos. What makes them fascinating is how effortlessly they manage to stay private despite their public image. No oversharing, no drama, just real love and respect wrapped in quiet sophistication. They've proven that even in the world of glamour, simplicity can be the ultimate luxury. And while Isabelle's story reflects grace and balance, our next couple shows that sometimes real strength in marriage comes from faith and finding purpose together beyond fame. From Isabelle's world of glamour and style, we now turn to a story that shines in an entirely different way, one rooted in faith, simplicity, and purpose. Rica Peralejo, once one of the most recognizable faces in Philippine entertainment, stepped away from the spotlight to build a quieter, more intentional life with Pastor Joseph Bonifacio. Their love story began not on set, but through shared values and faith. Rica met Joseph while attending church. And from that moment, their connection grew not through fame, but through faith-driven friendship. They married in 2010, and over the years, their relationship has become a testimony of commitment and spiritual grounding. Rica often shares honest reflections about marriage and motherhood, the ups, the struggles, and the grace that keeps everything together. Joseph, meanwhile, continues his work as a pastor and mentor, leading by example with humility and devotion. Together, they show that love doesn't always need grand gestures to feel extraordinary. Sometimes, the quietest relationships carry the deepest peace. And if Rica and Joseph's journey shows how faith can anchor love, our next couple proves that even across borders and big stages, love can stay beautifully grounded. From Rica and Joseph's faith-filled journey, we move to another story that's just as inspiring. One that proves love can thrive even under the brightest spotlight. Rachelle Ann Go, one of the Philippines' most powerful voices and a celebrated international theater star, found her greatest role not on stage, but in real life, as a wife and mother. Rachelle met Martin Spies, a businessman from London, through mutual friends, and what started as a casual introduction soon became something deeper. Far from the pressures of showbiz, Martin offered the kind of grounding Rachelle never knew she needed. Their connection was built on shared faith, humility, and genuine admiration. The two married in 2018, and since then, they've gracefully balanced family life between London and the Philippines. Despite Rachelle's global success in shows like Miss Saigon and Hamilton, she's kept her priorities clear: faith, family, and love above fame. Their story is a beautiful reminder that even in a world chasing applause, the truest kind of success is peace at home. And speaking of finding peace, our next couple proves that sometimes lasting happiness blooms when two worlds, showbiz and business, meet in perfect harmony. After Rachelle Ann Go's inspiring journey of faith and family abroad, we come back home to another woman who's gracefully balanced fame and fulfillment, Iza Calzado. Known for her strength, depth, and quiet elegance, Iza has always stood out as one of the most respected actresses in the industry. But behind her success lies a love story that's as steady as it is inspiring. Iza met Ben Wintle, a British Filipino entrepreneur, through friends, and their connection grew naturally, built not on glamour but on grounded respect. They tied the knot in December 2018 in a beautiful beach wedding in Palawan, and in 2023 they welcomed their daughter Dea, marking a new, joyful chapter in their lives. What makes their marriage admirable is how they keep it real. No excessive attention, no public drama, just two people navigating life as partners and equals. Ben's quiet confidence and Iza's calm maturity complement each other perfectly, creating a partnership that radiates peace. In a world where fame often brings pressure, Iza found balance, proving that success feels sweeter when shared with someone who values your soul more than your spotlight. And speaking of quiet strength, our next couple shares that same calm energy. Two people who built a simple life of love that speaks volumes. After Iza and Ben's story of peace and partnership, we move to another couple who share that same quiet grace. Iza's close friend and now sister-in-law, Bianca King, and her husband Ralph Wintle. Bianca, known for her candid personality and love for life away from the spotlight, found her match in Ralph, a businessman who values privacy and simplicity just as much as she does. Their love story unfolded naturally, built on shared humor, deep friendship, and genuine respect. In June 2021, the couple tied the knot in an intimate civil wedding held right in their Sydney home. No fanfare, no flashing lights, just love. They later welcomed their first child in 2023, embracing parenthood with warmth and authenticity. What stands out about Bianca and Ralph's relationship is how content they are with the ordinary. Bianca often shares glimpses of their peaceful life, cooking, gardening, raising their child. Moments that remind fans that happiness doesn't need to be staged. Theirs is a love that thrives in quiet spaces, honest, real, and full of gratitude. And while Bianca and Ralph show how simplicity can be beautiful, our next couple proves that even when fame fades, love can lead to a whole new kind of happiness. From Bianca King's peaceful home life in Sydney, we move to another story that touched many hearts. That of Nikki Gil, the singer-actress who gracefully stepped away from showbiz and found lasting happiness with her husband, BJ Albert. Once one of the most admired talents in Philippine entertainment, Nikki surprised fans when she chose to leave the spotlight after getting married in 2015. Her decision wasn't about giving up her career. It was about choosing a quieter kind of fulfillment. BJ, a businessman and nephew of music legend Jose Marie Chan, isn't part of the entertainment world, and that made all the difference. He brought balance, stability, and a sense of normalcy that Nikki had long been searching for. Together, they've built a life centered on faith, family, and gratitude. Now a devoted wife and mother, Nikki often shares how peace replaced pressure once she stepped away from fame. Her glow isn't from the cameras anymore. It's from contentment. Nikki's story reminds us that sometimes walking away from the spotlight doesn't mean losing yourself. It means finally finding what truly matters. And while her love story feels serene and complete, the next one proves that even a once broken heart can find joy again through second chances. After Nikki Gil's story of peace and quiet fulfillment, we move to another woman who found her happiness after heartbreak, Camille Prats. Her journey reminds us that even after deep loss, love has a way of finding its way back. Camille's first marriage ended tragically when she lost her husband to illness, leaving her to raise their young son alone. For years, she focused on being a mother and rebuilding her strength. Then came John V.J. Yambao, a businessman and family friend who entered her life with patience and sincerity. Their love story grew gently, rooted in faith and mutual respect. In January 2017, they sealed their union in a beautiful wedding at Naomi Sanctuary, a family-owned resort in Batangas, a place that symbolized both healing and new beginnings. Today, Camille and VJ's marriage is a portrait of resilience. They've built a blended family filled with love, laughter, and faith. She often says her second chance at love wasn't about replacing the past, but celebrating what's still possible. Camille's story shows that real love doesn't erase pain, it redeems it. And as we move from her story of second chances, our next couple proves that faith isn't just for healing. It can be the very heart of a lifelong partnership. From Camille Prats's beautiful story of second chances, we move to another woman who proved that love is sweetest when it's guided by faith, Kris Bernal. After years of working under the spotlight and facing the pressure of public expectations, Kris found her safe place in Perry Choi, a chef and restaurateur who lives a life far removed from showbiz. Their connection started through friendship and good conversation, and blossomed into a love rooted in mutual respect and belief in God's timing. The two married in September 2021, a church wedding filled with faith, family, and gratitude. Then in August 2023, they welcomed their first child, Hailey Luca, a new chapter that Kris calls her biggest blessing. Unlike many celeb couples who broadcast every moment, Kris and Perry prefer to share their joy in small, honest ways. Her posts about motherhood and married life feel authentic, real glimpses of a woman who's grown into her purpose. For Kris, love isn't about spotlight approval anymore. It's about peace, prayer, and partnership. Together, she and Perry show that the strongest relationships are built on shared values and unshakable faith. And while their story is about new beginnings, the next couple we'll meet takes us even further, showing how lasting love can be when it's rooted in simplicity and deep loyalty. From Kris Bernal's story of faith and first-time motherhood, we now move to another woman who's built her happiness far away from the chaos of showbiz, Yasmien Kurdi. Known for her talent and down-to-earth charm, Yasmien has always been admired for keeping her personal life private. In 2012, she married Rey Soldevilla, a commercial airline pilot, someone whose life is just as busy, but in a completely different world. Their wedding was simple, heartfelt, and famously practical, costing only around 20,000 pesos. But for Yasmien, it wasn't about the price tag. It was about peace and partnership. Over a decade later, that simplicity still defines their relationship. Together, they've built a quiet, happy family and are now raising 2 children with the same grounded values that keep them strong. While many celebrity marriages struggle under public pressure, Yasmien and Rey have chosen a life of balance and privacy. She often says that being married to someone outside showbiz keeps her perspective clear. It reminds her who she is beyond fame. Their love story shows that sometimes freedom isn't about leaving. It's about finding someone who lets you grow and still stay true to yourself. And as we leave Yasmien's calm, steady world, our next story brings us back into the art scene, where love and creativity meet in the most unexpected way. From Yasmien's grounded and peaceful world, we move to a couple who found love in a space where art and authenticity intertwine. Beauty Gonzalez and Norman Crisologo. Beauty, known for her charm and strong screen presence, surprised fans when she fell in love with Norman, an art curator and entrepreneur. Their worlds couldn't be more different. One shines in front of cameras, the other thrives behind gallery walls. But maybe that contrast is exactly what makes them work. The two married in May 2017 in a picturesque Tagaytay ceremony that felt more like a celebration of artistry than celebrity. Every detail reflected their shared appreciation for creativity and intimacy. Norman's calm, grounded nature balances Beauty's vibrant personality, allowing her to be herself, both as an artist and as a person. Their love story radiates elegance without effort. They live privately, cherishing family moments while still celebrating individuality. Beauty once said that Norman taught her to slow down and see life like a painting, something you appreciate more when you stop chasing it. It's a love that's real, refined, and lasting, a true masterpiece in its own right. And as we leave this world of art and grace, our next couple reminds us that love can endure even longer, tested by time, change, and unwavering devotion. After Beauty Gonzalez's elegant tale of love and art, we move to a couple whose story proves that true love doesn't fade with time. It only grows stronger. Assunta de Rossi and Jules Ledesma have been married for nearly 2 decades, and their relationship remains one of the most enduring in showbiz history. When they married back in 2004, their union sparked headlines. A young actress marrying a seasoned businessman and politician. But over the years, they've quietly defied every expectation. Behind the glamorous headlines was a love built on patience, trust, and shared faith. For years, they faced the struggle of wanting a child. And it wasn't until 2020 that Assunta gave birth to their daughter, Fiore. It was a miracle they waited 16 years for, and it made their bond even stronger. Today, Assunta and Jules live a peaceful, family-centered life away from the noise of fame. Their marriage is a reminder that love doesn't always need to be loud. Sometimes it's the quiet consistency that keeps it alive. And as we move from this story of enduring love, our next couple takes us to a more modern kind of devotion, one that blends faith, fun, and family in the most relatable way. From Assunta de Rossi's timeless love story, we move to a more modern kind of forever, one built on faith, friendship, and family. Andi Manzano, once a vibrant MTV VJ and TV host, found her lasting happiness not in showbiz fame, but in the quiet rhythm of married life with GP Reyes, a well-known entrepreneur and restaurateur. Their love story began through shared circles of friends and blossomed naturally over time. In November 2013, they exchanged vows in a romantic Baguio wedding surrounded by their loved ones, a ceremony that reflected simplicity, sincerity, and love grounded in faith. Since then, Andi and GP have built a life focused on family and gratitude. Their home radiates warmth, often filled with laughter from their two beautiful daughters. Despite GP's entrepreneurial lifestyle and Andi's previous fame, they've managed to keep their relationship steady, private, and real. What makes them so admired is how they've turned ordinary family life into something worth celebrating. Andi often shares her reflections on motherhood and marriage, emphasizing grace and gratitude in every chapter. Their story shows that peace doesn't mean stillness. It means harmony. And as we close in on our final story, we'll meet a couple who took leaving showbiz for peace to a whole new level by finding love and home in the islands. From Andi Manzano's quiet city life, we head to a different kind of peace, one surrounded by waves, sunsets, and simplicity. Andi Eigenmann, once one of the most promising actresses of her generation, chose to step away from fame and build a completely new life with Philmar Alipayo, a professional surfer from Siargao. Their love story began when Andi visited the island years ago, a trip that turned into a life-changing decision. She found not just love, but freedom. Together, they built a life that's beautifully far from the noise of showbiz. No bright lights, no red carpets, just salt air, family, and genuine happiness. Andi and Philmar now raise their children surrounded by nature, documenting their journey through simple, heartfelt posts that inspire millions. Their story shows that real success isn't about wealth or fame. It's about peace, purpose, and love that feels like home. Andi once said she found her happiest life in the simplest things, and it's clear she meant it. Her journey, from celebrity to island mom, perfectly closes this series of love stories that remind us that sometimes leaving the spotlight is the only way to truly shine. After seeing all these stories, from Angelica Panganiban's healing to Andi Eigenmann's island peace, one truth stands out. Happiness doesn't always live under the spotlight. For these celebrities, real love didn't come from fame, fortune, or the perfect public image. It came from choosing peace, privacy, and people who loved them for who they are, not for who the world expected them to be. Their stories remind us that while the entertainment industry runs on attention, true love thrives on intention. Whether it's a quiet wedding, a second chance, or a life away from the city, each of these couples proved that fulfillment comes when you stop performing and start living. In a world obsessed with visibility, they found strength in being unseen and joy in being truly known. Maybe that's what real forever looks like. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really helps us tell more stories like this one. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Which of these couples inspired you the most? And of course, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our next uploads about the untold lives, lessons, and love stories of your favorite celebrities.